Alright, guys, here we have the UCL knockout brackets. The draw was done today, and I was waiting for this draw because I really wanted to do another predictions video for this season's UCL. And here we are. The round of 16 draws are done, the brackets are done, and it is looking frankly quite surprising. Firstly, the left side of the draw has all the big teams, all the big names of Europe: Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea, Liverpool, Madrid, City, Bayern. And on the other side, the only big names I would think of is probably Barca. And if you say Arsenal, okay, you can consider Arsenal. I don't see any other team that's quite as big as them in that bracket, but that's my personal opinion. Anyways, for my predictions, okay, let's start with the left side of the bracket. PSG versus Chelsea. I think this would be a tough match. We have seen them clash in the finals of last year's Club World Cup, and it was frankly a pretty surprising result there, especially from PSG, who were literally on top of the world at the time. And Chelsea somehow totally mocked them 3-0. I remember that. And, anyways, the current situation of Chelsea, yeah, they don't have that kind of power anymore. Garnacho and Neto are their wingers, so you get it. Garnacho and Neto versus Hakimi and Nuno Mensch. You get the equation, right? So I think PSG will probably get through and they will go to the quarterfinals. Galatasaray versus Liverpool. I think this one doesn't need a prediction. Liverpool aren't at their best form, obviously, in the league. They are the defending champions of the EPL, but right now they're not doing as much. They're probably sixth at the time of recording, and but still, I mean, it's Galatasaray. They almost blown out a lead over Juventus, a 3-goal lead. Okay, so I think it's going to be Liverpool pretty easily to the quarters. Madrid versus City, obviously the European derby. We know that, we knew it was coming, and it is here yet again, yet another season. And I love Madrid. Okay, I am a Madridista. I love Madrid and I am a Madrid fan. But yeah, I will tell you for the prediction, and if I had to put money on it, I would rather put in Man City, because the current Madrid versus current Man City, yeah, Man City beats them down any day. Okay, I know it sounds harsh, but it is the truth and I have to accept it. So yeah, Man City to go through. Atalanta versus Bayern, another easy one. Atalanta did incredibly made a comeback against Dortmund. Okay, they came back from 2-0 to beat them 4-3, I believe, which was pretty incredible. But yeah, the Bayern super team, Luis Diaz, Harry Kane, Michael Olise, yeah, no chance against them. Bayern are going through. The other bracket, Newcastle versus Barcelona. Newcastle might put up a great fight against Barca, to be honest. Out of any other teams in the bracket, I think Newcastle are the only ones that can put up a really good fight. Okay, but I think Barca will go through. Okay. Atleti versus Spurs. I think Spurs can do a lot of mysterious things. One of them being fourth in the league phase. But no, I don't think they're going through the haram ball of Simeone. Atleti are going through. Bodo versus Sporting. Now, Bodo have been incredible. A fairy tale run. And I hope it continues. And in my prediction, I will put them over Sporting to go to the quarterfinals. But we never know. Yet, for me, and I think even statistically, I think Buddha have the better chance, the greater chance. Leverkusen versus Arsenal. Yeah, we never want Arsenal to win any matches. But you know how good they are this season, at least in paper. And I think this Leverkusen side is no match for Arsenal. Arsenal going through. The quarterfinals, PSG versus Liverpool, another classic match of last season. It would be intense. Both teams aren't at their best as it was last season. They were both at their best last season. They aren't at the moment. PSG almost uh, like went to second place for a couple of match weeks in League On. So get that in mind. Liverpool are also struggling in their own right, as I already mentioned it earlier. But I think for this one, the prediction could be very close, okay? Like it could be very wrong, but I think PSG will make it through to the semifinals. They are the defending champions, and I think they will perform when it matters. For Man City versus Bayern. Now, this could be a very interesting match, a very long-awaited match, I should say. Okay, Haaland versus Kane. It would be absolutely incredible, but I think the Bayern super team will beat this City team pretty easily, even though City are in a good form, especially near the end of the season. Okay, they are in a title race with Arsenal, and you know Pep, he can literally do anything and everything. But I think Bayern are going through. Next, it is Barca versus Atleti, a classic, and this one, I think in the UCL, Barca will perform when it matters. Okay, even with Simeone's Harambol, I don't think Atleti have a chance to win against Barca, especially if Barca's top class players play well, like Pedri, Yamal, Rafinha, you know. So I think Barca are going through there. For Buda versus Arsenal, yes, as much as I hate to admit it, I think Buda's run, the fairy tale run, will probably come to an end in the quarterfinals, which is still impressive. Don't get me wrong, still impressive, but I think the fairy tale run will come to an end by Arsenal. The Arsenal team would be a much more difficult opponent to face than any other they have faced so far. So Arsenal probably go through to the semis, but I really hope that they don't, and I hope Boda will. But that's the semifinal predictions. Uh, Paris versus Bayern. Now, as I said, the super trio of Bayern, it would be a heavy clash down. Okay, especially with the defense of Paris, especially the two fullbacks of Paris, Hakimi and Nuno Mensch versus Michael Olise and Luis Diaz. It would be an incredible matchup. But at the end of the day, I think the team that scores wins, and I think Bayern are going to score more at least. So I am putting Bayern in the finals of the UCL. On the other hand, yeah, Barca versus Arsenal would be an epic clash, obviously. Both will probably still be on top of the table. And, well, Arsenal, we know they always bottle it, but I do have a feeling that they might actually reach the final here over Barca, because you see, Barca have their own problems. They are not that super Barca team of last season. So I think Arsenal probably might clinch a small victory, like by 1 goal or something on aggregate, and they will probably go to the final. And here is the final, Bayern versus Arsenal, and I think it is pretty obvious who's gonna bottle it and who's gonna win it. Bayern will win the 7th UCL title. And that is my final prediction. Today it is 27th of February, it's Friday, 2026. And this is my UCL prediction for the final of UCL season 25-26. Thank you for watching.